Hello, everyone. Today, I want to talk about something very quiet, something that does not make noise, but slowly steals our peace. Comparison. It happens in small moments. You wake up in the morning. Before you fully open your eyes, you reach for your phone. You scroll. A friend got a promotion. Someone bought a new house. Someone is traveling in Europe. Someone looks happy. Someone looks successful. And without deciding to, you compare. You look at your own life, your job, your savings, your body, your relationship, your progress, and something inside you becomes heavy. Nothing changed in your life in that moment, but your mood changed. Your peace changed. Comparison is quiet. It does not shout. It whispers. It says, "Look at them. Why are you not there yet? Why are you behind?" And suddenly, your normal life feels smaller. Your progress feels slower. Your joy feels weaker. Comparison steals peace. Comparison steals joy. Comparison steals focus. The strange thing is this. Before you opened your phone, you were fine. Before you saw that post, you were okay. Your life did not become worse, but your perspective changed. And perspective changes everything. We live in a time where we see everyone's highlights, their best photos, their best moments, their biggest achievements, but we do not see their doubts. We do not see their fear. We do not see their slow days. We compare our ordinary day to someone else's best moment, and that comparison is unfair. Imagine watching only the best 30 seconds of someone's entire year. Of course it looks impressive. Of course it looks perfect. But life is not 30 seconds. Life is long. Life is quiet. Life is ordinary most days. Comparison makes ordinary feel like failure. But ordinary is where real life happens. Think about this. When you were a child, did you compare like this? Did you look at your friend and think, "I am behind"? Maybe sometimes, but not like now. Now comparison is constant. It is in your pocket. It is in your hand. It is available every minute. You can compare your career, your body, your relationship, your income, your house, your vacation, your lifestyle. There is no end. And when there is no end, there is no peace, because there will always be someone who is ahead in something, someone richer, someone more attractive, someone more successful, someone faster. If your peace depends on being ahead of everyone, you will never rest. Comparison is a race with no finish line, and the more you run, the more tired you become. Let me ask you something gently. Who decided your timeline? Who decided when you should succeed? When you should marry? When you should buy a house? When you should feel established? Was it truly you? Or was it what you saw online? Everyone has a different timeline. Some people bloom early. Some bloom late. Some change direction at 40. Some start over at 50. Some find success quickly. Some build slowly for years. Slow growth is still growth. Quiet progress is still progress. But comparison makes slow progress feel invisible. It tells you, if it's not fast, it's not good. That is not true. A tree does not compare itself to another tree. It grows at its own pace. Some trees grow tall quickly. Some grow strong roots first. You cannot see roots from the outside, but roots are what hold the tree steady. Maybe your season right now is root building. Maybe it looks quiet from the outside, but something deep is forming. Comparison makes you forget your own path. It pulls your eyes away from your own steps. It makes you measure your life with someone else's ruler. But their ruler was not made for you. Your life is not a competition. It is a journey. And journeys look different. Some roads are straight. Some roads are winding. Some roads are slow. But slow does not mean wrong. When you stop comparing, something changes. You breathe easier. You look at your own progress with softer eyes. You notice small wins. You feel gratitude for small things. You begin to see your life as it truly is, not through someone else's filter, not through someone else's timeline, but through your own experience. You are not late. You are not behind. You are not failing. You are on your path, and your path does not need to look like anyone else's. Comparison is loud, but peace is quiet. Comparison says, look at them. Peace says, look at yourself. Comparison says, you should be there. Peace says, you are here. And here is enough for now. Nothing in your life changes the moment you stop comparing, but everything feels lighter because you stop fighting a race that was never yours. And maybe today, the first step is simple. Notice when you compare. Do not judge yourself. Just notice. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. When you notice the comparison voice, you can gently say, thank you, but I choose my own pace. This is where peace begins. And this is only the beginning of the story. Comparison feels automatic. It feels natural, almost like breathing. You do not wake up and decide, today I will compare myself to others. It simply happens. You see, you scroll, you measure, and in seconds, you judge your own life. But comparison is not a fact. It is a habit, and habits can be understood. When you see someone succeed, your brain reacts quickly. It asks, where am I compared to them? This question feels logical, but it is not always helpful because it ignores something important. Context. You do not see their full story. You do not see how many times they failed. You do not see how long they struggled. You do not see what they sacrificed. You see the result, and you compare it to your current chapter. That is like comparing someone else's chapter 10 to your chapter 3. Of course it feels unfair, because it is unfair. Everyone has a different timeline. Some people start early. Some people start late. Some people move fast. Some people move slowly. Some people change direction completely. Life is not a straight line. It is a series of seasons. There is a season of learning, a season of building, a season of waiting, a season of growth. But when you compare, you forget your season. You look at someone in summer while you are still in spring. You look at someone harvesting while you are still planting. And planting looks small. Planting looks slow. But planting is necessary. Nothing grows without roots. Nothing blooms without time. Slow growth is still growth. Quiet progress is still progress. You may not see dramatic results, but something is forming. Something is strengthening. Something is preparing. Comparison makes preparation feel invisible. It says, if it's not impressive, it's not important. But most important things are not impressive in the beginning. Confidence grows quietly. Skill grows quietly. Character grows quietly. And often, while you are building silently, You think you are falling behind. Let's pause for a moment. Think about your own life. Where have you grown? In the past year? Not in comparison to others, just compared to your past self. Are you more patient? More aware? More disciplined? More honest with yourself? Growth is not always visible on the outside. Sometimes it is emotional growth. Sometimes it is mental strength. Sometimes it is healing. And healing does not look dramatic, but it changes everything. Comparison focuses on speed, but life is not about speed. It is about direction. If you are moving in the right direction, even slowly, you are not behind. You are progressing. There is another quiet truth. When you compare constantly, you lose focus on your own path. You spend energy watching others, energy that could be used to build your own life. Comparison steals focus. Focus builds progress. If you spend your time measuring someone else's success, you have less time to build your own. Peace comes when you return your attention to your own steps. One small improvement today, one small action today, one small discipline today. That is enough. You do not need to win the race. You need to walk your path. Sometimes comparison also hides fear. Fear of not being enough. Fear of missing out. Fear of making the wrong choice. But comparing does not remove fear. It increases it. Instead of asking, "Why am I not there?" try asking, "What is my next step?" Instead of asking, "Why am I behind?" try asking, "What can I build today?" These questions feel different. They feel lighter. They feel possible. Another powerful practice is reducing your exposure. If something always triggers comparison, limit it. If scrolling makes you feel smaller, take a break. Not because others are wrong, but because your peace matters. You are responsible for what you allow into your mind, and your mind deserves calm. Imagine waking up and not immediately comparing. Imagine opening your day with gratitude instead of measurement. Imagine looking at your own life without judgment. That does not mean you stop improving. It means you improve from inspiration, not insecurity. There is a difference. Insecurity says, "I must be better than them." Inspiration says, "I can grow too." One creates pressure. One creates possibility. When you stop comparing, you do not become lazy. You become focused. You stop chasing someone else's dream, and you begin building your own. And slowly, very slowly, life feels lighter. Not because you achieved everything, but because you stopped fighting a race that was never yours. This is the middle of the journey, and there is still more to understand. And there is something else we need to understand. Comparison is not only one feeling. It moves in stages. First you see, then you measure, then you judge, then you feel smaller, and finally, you feel tired. It happens so quickly that you barely notice it. You open an app, you see someone's success. In 1 second, your brain asks, "Where am I compared to them?" In the next second, you answer yourself, "I am behind." And in the next moment, your energy drops. Nothing changed in your life, but your mood changed. That is the power of comparison. Let's look at the different ways comparison shows up. Sometimes it is about money. Someone earns more. Someone buys something expensive. Someone moves into a bigger house. And you begin to measure your worth with numbers. Sometimes it is about career. Someone is promoted. Someone starts a business. Someone becomes successful faster. And you wonder if you are moving too slowly. Sometimes it is about relationships. Someone gets married. Someone posts romantic photos. Someone seems deeply loved. And you ask yourself why your story looks different. Sometimes it is about appearance. Clear skin, perfect body, stylish clothes, filtered photos, and you compare your real mirror to someone's edited image. There is no end. There will always be something to compare. And if you search long enough, you will always find someone who looks ahead. But here is a quiet truth. You are comparing your full reality to someone else's highlight. Social media is not a full documentary. It is a collection of best moments. People post the celebration, not the confusion. They post the achievement, not the anxiety. They post the smile, not the silent doubt. You are watching the surface and comparing it to your behind-the-scenes life. That comparison will always feel unfair because it is incomplete. Now let's talk about something deeper: jealousy. Many people feel ashamed when they feel jealous. But jealousy is not evil. Jealousy is information. It tells you something important. If you feel jealous when someone writes a book, maybe you want to create something. If you feel jealous when someone travels, maybe you want freedom. If you feel jealous when someone changes careers, maybe you want courage. Instead of asking, why them? Try asking, what does this show me about what I want? Jealousy can become direction. It can show you your hidden desire. And desire is not wrong. It becomes harmful only when it turns into self-hate. Use comparison as a signal, not as a weapon against yourself. There is another important shift: external standards versus internal standards. External standards say, I must match them. Internal standards say, I will grow at my pace. External standards depend on applause. Internal standards depend on alignment. External success can look impressive. Internal fulfillment feels peaceful. Ask yourself gently, if no one could see my life, what would I still want to build? If no one could compare me, what would still matter? That is closer to your real path. Let's make this practical. Try a simple 7-day comparison reset. Day 1. Just notice every time you compare. Do not judge. Just observe. Day 2. Reduce scrolling by half. Protect your attention. Day 3. Write your own timeline, not society's. Yours. What matters to you? Day 4. Practice gratitude. List 5 things that are already good in your life. Day 5. Focus on one personal goal. Small step. Clear direction. Day 6. Compliment someone sincerely. Shift from comparison to appreciation. Day 7. Reflect. How do you feel compared to a week ago? Small resets create emotional space, and emotional space creates clarity. The more you focus on your own steps, the quieter comparison becomes. You will still notice others. You will still see success, but it will not shake you the same way because you are rooted in your own path. Remember this again. You are not late. You are not behind. You are building at your pace, in your season, and that is enough for now. And there is one more image I want you to hold gently in your mind. Imagine yourself many years from now. Not tomorrow, not next year, but much later. You are sitting quietly. The world feels slower. Your hair is different. Your energy is different. And you look back at your life. In that moment, you will not remember how many people were ahead of you. You will not remember who bought a house before you. You will not remember who earned more at age 30. You will remember how you felt. You will remember whether you rushed or whether you lived. You will remember whether you chased others or followed your own direction. Comparison feels urgent today, but in the long run, it becomes small, very small. What feels big now may feel irrelevant later. What feels slow now may feel meaningful later. There is something peaceful about accepting your own timing. When you accept your timing, you stop fighting reality. You stop arguing with the clock. You stop measuring your worth by someone else's speed. Speed is visible. Depth is invisible. Speed gets attention. Depth builds stability. You may not be the fastest, but maybe you are becoming deeper. Maybe you are becoming stronger in ways that cannot be seen yet. And depth lasts longer than speed. Let's imagine another version of your life. A life without constant comparison. You wake up, and your first thought is not, where am I compared to others? Your first thought is, what matters today? You work quietly. You improve slowly. You celebrate small wins. You notice your own growth, not loudly, not dramatically, but steadily. Your confidence becomes quieter. It does not depend on applause. It does not depend on competition. It depends on consistency. Consistency creates self-trust, and self-trust creates peace. When you trust yourself, you do not need to rush. When you trust yourself, you do not panic when others move faster, because you know you are moving in your direction. That is enough. There will always be someone ahead, but there will also always be someone looking at you and thinking, I wish I had what they have. Comparison goes both ways. You may feel behind someone. Someone else may feel behind you. This is why comparison is endless. And anything endless cannot give peace. Peace comes from acceptance, not resignation. Acceptance. Acceptance says, this is where I am. And this is where I begin, not where someone else began, not where someone else is finishing, but where you are now, right here. Your life is not a racetrack. It is a landscape. There are mountains. There are valleys. There are seasons of growth and seasons of rest. Rest is not failure. Waiting is not weakness. Redirection is not defeat. Sometimes slowing down is wisdom. Sometimes staying steady is courage. When you stop comparing, you begin observing. You notice your strengths. You notice your values. You notice what truly matters to you. And what matters to you may not look impressive to others. That is okay. A meaningful life does not need to look impressive. It needs to feel aligned with your values, aligned with your pace, aligned with your truth. If you live aligned, you may not always be ahead, but you will be at peace. And peace is something comparison can never give you. So slowly, gently, return your attention to your own steps. Return your energy to your own growth. Return your focus to your own season. You are not late. You are not behind. You are becoming. And becoming takes time. It takes patience. It takes trust. And trust grows when you stop looking sideways and start looking inward. This is the quiet freedom that begins the moment you choose your own pace. This is the quiet freedom that begins the moment you choose your own pace. And maybe today, you do not need to change everything. Maybe you only need to notice. Notice when comparison begins. Notice when your peace becomes heavy. And gently bring yourself back. Back to your own path. Back to your own season. Back to your own timeline. Your life is not late. Your growth is not wrong. Your pace is not a mistake. It is yours. Thank you for listening today. Thank you for taking a quiet moment to reflect on your own journey. If this message helped you breathe a little easier, carry it with you into your next day. And remember, see you in the next story.